Hey, what's up everybody? This is the Big JB for Morning Thunder. It's really more of an afternoon delight right now because I am driving 12:35 p.m. Pacific time, driving to the hospital for my wife. I have a cancer update, and forgive me because I might / probably will cry. I'm in the car getting ready to get on the freeway, and I just feel like it's time to give a cancer update. Had the unpleasant news that we're on the final tier of available cancer treatments for my wife. She is starting a new chemo, just started it today, as a matter of fact, or yesterday, sorry, it was yesterday, and it seems like she's tolerating it well. I don't know what the results of it have been so far. She hasn't said anything. She's been pretty quiet on text and stuff because she's understandably sleepy. One of the medications that they give her to fight nausea also makes her tired, so that's, you know, fun, but it also means that she's resting, which is good. So I also apologize if this Morning Thunder's a little louder than usual, but I know you'll deal with it because you always do. So yeah, we found the news out not terribly long ago, and we're trying to figure out what the next course of treatment was going to be like. I'm in a weird spot, and I'm still thinking about writing a blog post or something on Facebook or something about the experience of where I'm at, because it's not just me, but we're in an interesting position where it's a limbo between hope and statistics. And the statistics in our society were very nice. Thanks for getting over right then. The statistics, we're so science-oriented and math-oriented in our society that we look at the statistics, or we get the statistics and find out that you know, something is going to happen, or the likelihood of something is going to happen, and we automatically assume that it is the gospel truth, that it is written in stone, and that is what's going to happen. Those reports never talk about the, you know, who has succeeded and people who have beat the statistics. So it's tough because, you know, on the one hand, we rely on science, and we have been for my wife's care through this process. But on the other hand, I am still a person of faith, and I still believe in divine intervention, and I still want to have hope that some treatment or something that we're going to do is going to make a difference. And there are other options that we can pursue besides chemotherapy, naturopathy. There's, you know, potentially some stuff internationally that we could look at there, you know. So this is not a, you know, we're looking at days, but it's an interesting place being between those, because I want to leave room for hope. I want to leave room for faith and possibility, and yet I'm stuck with looking at the science of where we are, and it's a very weird place trying to reconcile those two things in light of all of that. You know, for the most part, that I don't swear on these videos, but I don't know how else to say this, and if my kids are watching, please forgive me. Cancer fucking sucks. There's no other way to say it. It's devastating. What my family is having to go through right now is an absolute nightmare. And there's a lot of grieving right now. And it's a lot of grieving of the possibilities of, you know, what could happen. And that's terrible. I mean, in life, we could spend time grieving what's possible and what could happen, and we could walk around like the character Fear from Inside Out, great movie if you haven't seen it, constantly afraid of what could happen. And that's debilitating, and nobody wants that. I don't want to live like that. But you know, when you get a diagnosis of cancer, or find out that someone close to you has a diagnosis of cancer, all of a sudden that becomes a very real possibility, and you have to really honestly deal with those things. And so I find myself doing a lot of grieving, a lot of pre-grieving, you know, trying not to get lost in the what ifs, but we're at a point where some of those what ifs need to be thought of. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. My wife is my best friend. She knows me better than anybody on this planet. Everything that I do, here we go, everything that I have done over the last, oh gosh, been more than 24 years. We've been married 24 and a half years. We've known each other for at least 26 years, maybe longer. Everything that I have done and I have experienced, she's been there. And how do you think about not having that person with you after that amount of time? I don't know that there are any words for it. I don't know that there's anything that can be said, or anything that can be, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that. We're not at that point yet where we're looking at the very end. But it's something I think anybody in this position would be foolish to deny or to stuff, because I think that makes more trauma down the road. And so it's yeah, I'm just not sure what else to say about that in particular. You know, it's my best friend, my life partner, my soulmate, the person who is perfect for me and has been by my side through some of the worst shit that I've ever experienced. And I've been there for her through the same. And there's nobody on this planet that I would rather go through stuff with. I think I would rather have a life that was full of difficulty and have her by my side than go through a life that was completely blessed with no problems or very few problems and not have her with me. There's nobody I would rather go through stuff with. And I don't want to, I hate thinking about the fact that I might not have that. And that's where a lot of my grieving has been, is that I'm grieving the possibility of having to miss my best friend forever. Because what do you do when you have somebody who has been part of your life for 25 or, you know, almost 25 years or more, well, more than 25. What do you do when that person is gone and they've been so much a part of your life? Every single thing Everything has been touched by their presence. Even if there's stuff that you don't like together. You know, even if there's stuff that, you know, you understand that one person likes that the other person doesn't. You encounter that situation where, you know, I'm going to play a game or I'm going to watch a movie that I know that she doesn't necessarily love. But I would know and I would remember that she doesn't necessarily love that movie or doesn't necessarily like that game or that character. And that's a tough thing to cope with. And so you have that, and like I said, I'm in that limbo place of I'm worried and I'm afraid of that, and yet still hoping that there is some solution that we might find that could turn this around and that would make it change, and that there's still room for miracles. I know that not everybody who watches this, Jerry, believes in miracles and believes in the divine. But I do, and I want to leave hope for that. And I've seen God work miracles. I've seen God do divine healing. And I want to see that happen. And I know that the God that I believe in is all-powerful. And that even if I doubt, and even if I struggle, and even if I'm angry at Him, that He can still do something in the midst of this. But I also know that God is all-knowing. And so, if He's all-knowing, that means that He has a plan. I don't want that plan to be without my wife. I don't want that plan to be without my best friend. But if it meant that she had to suffer more later in life, or that there was some other horrific event that was going to take place, although I can't imagine what would be worse. And this is the way of, I don't know, preventing that. There's part of me that wants to accept that. There's no good way of going through this. I mean, I think, okay, I think as far as how my family is handling this, I think that we're handling this in the best way possible. I think that we had to tell our kids on Wednesday what was going on. And you can just imagine the mix of emotions from kids that are 22 down to 12. Thankfully, we did it with a family counselor that we love and adore and who's very skilled. But having to tell them freaking sucked. There's no other way of describing that. It was terrible. But I think the way that we handled it was as good as you possibly could have. Our family is one of the best families ever. I mean, I like to think that our family is the best. We pull together during hard times. We celebrate good times. We create memories with each other. We laugh more than we argue. It doesn't mean that we're perfect or anything, but we have a really good family. And so I think that, you know, we handled that as good as possible, and I think that we've handled all of this situation as well as anybody could hope. I mean, my wife and the things that she's had to endure and the things that she's had to go through with this treatment, some of these treatments. One of the people that I used to work with used to say that she is She-Ra. And I couldn't agree more, because she has withstood so much and she is so strong and has been so committed to kicking cancer's ass. And we all have. We all have in our family, all dedicated to that, all focused on that, all hopeful for that. Never expecting that we would get to this point where we have to say, well, this is a real possibility, that we might get to a point where there's nothing left. I don't want that for my kids. I don't want that for myself. But I really don't want that for my kids. So I know I've gone on a bit, and I know that you guys don't mind. It's helpful for me to talk about it. It's helpful for me to process. I am seeing a counselor. We have an amazing support network. But a lot of you have asked about where we are with the cancer treatment. You're welcome to ask more questions down in the comments. Please be respectful and sensitive about what you ask. The answer to a lot of the questions are going to be yes, we've tried that. Yes, we've looked at medical trials. There's a lot of complexity, and everybody's cancer is different. I'll have to do a video about that sometime, because no two people, even two ovarian cancer patients, their cancer is going to be different from each other. Cancer is an insidious invader that should not exist, and I wish we could kill it. To quote my oldest, I wish that cancer was a person so that I could stab it in its stupid face. I really do. And I would consider it a personal favor that if you're not currently donating or doing something active in the fight against ovarian cancer, that you begin doing that. Because ovarian cancer needs a lot more support. It needs a lot more research. It needs a lot more victory over this stupid, invasive disease. One easy way to do that is to go to smile.amazon.com, and it'll let you choose a donation center, someplace that will get a portion of the money that you spend at Amazon. We've set it up so that our funds go to the Rivkin Ovarian Cancer Research Center. It's an important, very important thing. We need to be able to kick some butt and to see this thing eliminated. Even if, God forbid, that my wife does not survive, ovarian cancer needs to die. We need to have more options. We need to have more success stories. So, before I break down completely, I just want to thank you for watching. Thanks to all of you who have commented and asked questions and followed up with me. It really means a lot. I'm sorry I haven't been able to respond to everybody, but you can tell. There's obviously reasons for that. So much more that I want to say, so much more that I want to update you guys on. So hopefully I'll be able to make the time to make these happen. Thank you so much, guys, for everything. Signing off.